This is GSR here. So let's talk about the power of blocking, right? So we're just gonna get straight to this. For the sake of this video, I did look at Havoc's frame data just a little bit for this combo string, including certain characters, so that way I could show you this information here. Because I'm not gonna be one of these shady ass MK YouTubers or high level players where they extort you for money so that way you can get information so you can be better at the game. Because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to learn and get better and try to be the best that they could possibly be. And I'm basically giving you guys this shit for free. I'm not gonna sit here and uh, tell you guys, hey, if you want a private session with me, hey, give me 20, 25, 30 bucks, nigga. Like, no, I'm not gonna extort you guys for money like that. That's not right. You guys are already supporting the channel by subscribing and liking the video and commenting, and that's more than enough for me. Of course, I did post on my Cash App if you do want to support the channel even further, which could help me, but it can also help the channel out a lot. And it can give me more time to where I can actually make more videos like this. But at the end of the day, if you don't do it, no love is lost. But anyway, let's get back into it. So, what I'm gonna do here, right, is that I'm going to show off Kung Lao and Havoc again, right? And I'm gonna show you Johnny Cage and Havoc afterwards. So pay close attention to this.
Sharp dressed man.
Now, I labbed slightly against Havoc and Gearus for the sake of this video, and I learned a little bit of Kung Lao's frame data for the sake of this video to show you guys the power of blocking. You have your standard blocking, and then you have the advanced blocking. Players with a lot of experience that have a lot of time on their hands somehow, including grown-ass men that have a lot of time on their hands somehow to play this game consistently, they know this information, right? Now, I know this information as well. It's just that I don't care enough to apply it online, right? Because I don't care for interested fighting games competitively like that. But because I know this information and I know how to use it, okay, it wouldn't be fair to go against casual players because it'll just bore the shit out of me, right? So I go against niggas that play in a serious way, I guess you can say, right? So we're gonna get into this, right? So we're gonna focus on Havoc's 112. So he's +3 on block. If he flawless block, he's -7 on block, right? Now, like I said, there's a thing called standard blocking and advanced blocking. Now, the reason why you guys are seeing my buttons here is because I'm proving to you guys that I'm actually doing this shit for real, right? So as you can clearly see, he's +3 on block. So that's actually really good for him. I'm not gonna explain why this is really good for him. I'm just showing you guys this. Now, what happens if you crouch block and then you decide to stand block? He becomes +4 on block, right? A lot of players think that it's just the player going for the mix-up, like the more experienced opponent is just going for the mix-up if they go for this with Havoc, right? Now, you could tell if somebody's just trying to mix with Havoc. You can tell because they'll change their cameo prider from like Sub-Zero to like a character like, Striker or Frost, so they can get an overhead low kind of mind game going. You know what I'm saying? Now, a more experienced opponent, if they are using a mix-up character, there has to be a purpose and a reason behind why they're using that particular cameo fighter, right? Now, as the attacker that's on the opposing side going against the other opponent that's on the other side that's defending, you have to understand the way that the opponent is blocking. And you need to try out different variations of blocking to see how your frame data changes, how your options change, how the opponent's option changes, and you need to pay attention to that, right? A lot of people think that it's just simply, he's -4 in block, so now I can just take my turn. But then all of a sudden, you get hit with a down 1, all of a sudden the opponent backdashes, or they go for like an armored situation, and you don't understand what the hell just happened. You thought, and you were also under the impression that you can hit this nigga, and that's not even true, right? You got to get this nigga to respect you first, right? So I'm just going to go for the 112 again, and then we're just going to get straight to the point, right? So you can clearly see he's -7 on block. Kung Lao is gifted with a back 1 that is actually 6 frames, which means that he can get a punch. So what does that mean again? That means that Havoc has some shit that he has to think about, right? And as you can clearly see, he has some bullshit that he has to think about, right? So now, right, Now, the player, right? The player has to think about this shit as Havoc, right? Now, of course, there are going to be situations to where you're going to block low, but you need to react to this combo string immediately. And the reason why you need to react to it immediately is because if you sit here during the second hit and then you decide to stand up, he becomes +4 on block. Now, what happens if you decide to sit here and wait and then you fall back? He's -6 on block, which means you won't get a punish, which means now this nigga is definitely going to challenge you when you go for those highs, right? You might even go for a throw. Now, of course, you have a mid to check him, right? Now, the question is can he go for an Abaria attempt? Can he armor through your shit? Like, there's layers to this shit, right? It's more than just, oh, simple blocking. It's more than just a mix-up, you know what I mean? There's a deeper meaning behind shit like this, right? There's a lot of advanced shit here that's being exposed right now, right? So this is something that you got to think about, because you have your standard stand blocking like this, you have your standard crouch blocking like this, then you have crouch blocking, stand blocking, crouch blocking, then you have stand blocking, crouch blocking, stand blocking, and then you have a series where you alternate between the two, right? Depending on the matchup. And the thing is, as a defender, you need to identify the combo string immediately and block it correctly, right? So that way the opponent's not taking advantage of it, right? Of course, you also have to understand, and people don't know this, that there's a mind game when you're blocking, right? And I'm gonna tell you why there's a mind game. As the defender, defending against this combo string, you can create a mind game when you're blocking, right? That's a thing, right? As the attacker, right, you can create a mind game with your combo string. So, like I said, there's so much there, bro, to unpack. I could literally make a 50-minute video talking about this, right? Literally, I could literally do that shit if I wanted to, right? Now, this is where it gets interesting.
Captain of Zero Force.
This is where it gets interesting.
Ying Fortress.
The frame data for Havoc in this matchup, and this is also another thing. If you decide to pick up a different character, you need to learn the situation with that character you picked, because the frame data could change, or the options that you have could change dramatically because the matchup is completely different. And I'm gonna show you guys that right now. So right now, I'm just talking about the frame data portion of things, but I'm about to show you guys some more advanced shit, right? So check this out. 112 is what? -7 on block. So what does that mean? Johnny Cage is gifted with a down one that is 6 frames on startup. So he won't get a punish, right? And this is part of matchup knowledge if you're using Havoc. He won't get a punish, but he will get a guaranteed down one if the player knows anything about it, right? So what does this mean exactly? Now, keep in mind, Havoc string is a true block string. You can't, like, go through it or anything with, like, an armored attempt, so you just have to take this with a grain of salt. But, basically, what does this mean exactly, right? This means Havoc doesn't really fear Johnny as much, and the reason why I say it is because you're not going to get comboed, but you will get down one. So the Havoc player is going to have to play around with this situation because Johnny's pressure is not bad, and stuff like that. And then there's more shit to it, right? But say, for example, I was a crouch block like this, right? And I was holding crouch block for some reason. As you can clearly see, right, the frame data changed dramatically. First of all, Havoc is +3 on block, right? Against Kung Lao, when Kung Lao crouch blocked completely and then stand blocked for the final hit, he was +4. In this matchup, if I crouch block completely and then stand block, he's +5. You see the difference here? Now watch this. When I close block this, he's -5. So he's 2 frames safer than what he was if you were to stand block it, right? He's literally 2 frames safer. Do you see the difference here? So that's the frame data aspect of things, right? Like, that's the frame data thing for you guys, right? This is the shit that you need to study with your character when you're going for your block string, but this is also something that you need to study if you're going against a character, right? And that goes for any of these characters in this game. And it takes time and it takes dedication. There's a mind game when you're blocking, because you can give the opponent that the opponent might think, okay, he's gonna crouch block right here, or something like that. You might think he might do this and do that with the combo string because he thinks that you're gonna sit there and crouch block a certain way, or you're gonna block a certain way. Like, there's a lot there to unfold, right? Now, I'm gonna show you guys some more advanced shit, right? Check this out.
Boom.
I'm gonna pick Johnny Cage.
Tick tock. Boom.
I'm gonna pick Gear.
Good eye. I see.
Right?
Cotton colony.
Now, let's see what happens when we go for Gears' forward 1-2, right? We're just gonna focus on the forward 1-2 and that's it, right? So, you know, you're using Johnny Cage and you're testing out your options and shit like that. You're trying to figure out what you can and can't do with the combo string as, in terms of like, you know, it having a gap or whatever the case may be, right? Okay, cool, that's fine, that's fine. So, you know, Gears goes for this and, you know, he decides to block, right? He's minus 18 on block, which means what exactly? The nigga can kick off, basically combo, right? So this is bad news bear. So he's gonna commit into the last hit, which leaves him minus 5 on block. So you test out your options here, right? Because you're like, okay, I wonder if there's a gap in it, right? So the first thing you test out is your fatal blow. What do you know? There's a gap in it big enough to where you can go for it, right? You can actually shadow kick the shit, right? Okay, cool. What if I try to go for Johnny Cage is showing off parry moves, right? If I try to do the meterless version, nothing happens. If I try to go for the meter burn version, nothing happens. So I can't use this option in this matchup against Gears when it comes to this combo string, right? Okay, cool. I can go for my nut punch, so that's good as well, right? So you have two really good options, technically three really good options that the Gears player is probably going to know about if they're truly labbing and they're very seasoned players that have this type of experience, right? And they dedicate the time to learning it, right? Which is kind of strange because a lot of niggas have a lot of time in their hands to play this fucking game for some weird fucking reason. But anyway, that's besides the point. So as you can clearly see, these are the three options that you have access to, right? Now, obviously, there's flawless blocking, right? But let's see what happens when you flawless block, right? Can you commit into the last hit of this combo string, right? Yes, you can. So, I mean, the most that you do is that you'll reduce the chip damage of that last attack, right? Now, you haven't tested out your mobility options yet, right? So what happens if I jump forward? Nothing, right? What happens if I jump backwards? Nothing. What happens if I jump up? Okay, that's not good because he's going to commit into the last hit and then I'll get knocked down and take substantial amount of damage. And the reason why I say substantial amount of damage is because if Gears was to go for the full combo string and you got hit, look how much damage you get. That's fucking insane, right? That's fucking stupid as hell. And he'll still get 17%. So that's not good. Any nigga thinking that's cool to jump in the air like that in this matchup, you're fucking crazy. Like that's 17% plus a knockdown. That's fucked up. Like that's a lot of damage for no reason at all. For a standard combo string, that's too much damage. So as you can clearly see, right? It doesn't seem like we can really do anything mobility-wise, right? Obviously, you can't do Seduct because it's a mid, right? Okay, what if I backdash? Nope, can't do anything. What if I walk backwards? Can't do anything. Okay, what if I walk forward? Can't do anything. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Guess what you can do? You can forward dash. Okay, what if I standing one? Can't do that. What if I down one? Can't do that. That acts as a counter, but it looks like it almost worked. Okay, I can't do that, right? But I can forward dash, and as you can clearly see, this is something that the Gears player, if they have a lot of experience, they're going to know this information, and they're going to know whether or not you're going to do this. So what can the Gears player do to kind of fuck with you? They might end up staggering the forward one. You might try to go for the standing two. They neutral duck and fuck your shit up. Or they might go for an armored situation just to get you off them. And you kind of see like what's happening here, right? Okay, cool. Now, like I told you guys before, there's different variations of blocking, right? And this is extremely important for you to understand. You have your standard crouch blocking, standard stand blocking, but then you have the advanced blocking where you're blocking and certain variations like this, right? Okay, so what happens if you just crouch block completely? Let's see what our options are, right? Let's see if we can fatal blow. Oh wow, so we can fatal blow still. We can shadow kick still. Okay, you try out the parry, doesn't work. Okay, what if we nut punch? Okay, we can still do that. What if we backdash? Can't do that. What if we jump into the air? Same situation. Okay, what if we jump backwards? Same situation. Jump forward? Same situation. What if we forward dash? Did you see that? Did you see that? I don't know if you guys saw that, but I'm getting hit. Now, there's a certain way that I'm doing this, right? And I'm trying to tell you guys this for a reason. When you're stand blocking, right, you can forward dash it. If you, and I'm talking about, you can forward dash it immediately, right? As you can clearly see, I can forward dash immediately, right? The moment that I crouch block and I do it immediately, right? I can escape it, right? You see this? So this is extremely beneficial. Now, the thing that you guys are not really paying attention to is the range of Gears' forward one. You guys are probably confused and you're probably thinking to yourself, what the hell are you talking about? You clearly just forward dash through it. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about. Gears, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to record it again because I wanted to, I want to know in the comment section down below if you guys noticed this, right? So I'm going to turn this off because that noise is kind of annoying me, right? I'm going to have Gears go for this forward 1-2 again, right? And I'm going to crouch block and I'm going to try and forward dash. If you notice, I'm not able to forward dash. If he does this at close range like this, I can't forward dash. Do you see this? You see how like I'm getting hit every single time? If I stand block at close range, I can do it. If I crouch block, I can't do it. Now, you guys are probably feeling a little perplexed right now, trying to figure out like, well, how the hell did you forward dash it before? I'm glad you asked. Now, you can test out the option here, right? Where you wait for a brief moment and then you try to forward dash. But as you can clearly see, it does not matter. If he does this at close range like this, like I'm talking about close range, where you guys are skin tight to each other, you can't forward dash when you crouch block, right? Now, this is what I didn't show you. I showed you, but you guys probably didn't notice it. See the difference here? See how I'm doing it right here? Now, see the difference? Now, I'm gonna show you guys this shit again, right? See how like my character is if he's spacing this out like this, right? This is what I'm showing you guys. If he spaces it out, and if you can identify the spacing situation right then and there with that forward one, while you're crouch blocking, you can go through it with a forward dash. You see what I'm showing you? Remember that shit. Now, when your back is pushed into the corner, you need to lab this combo string in the corner, and you need to see if you can do it in the corner, right? So let's see if we can actually do this shit in the corner, right? Because it's just as important as it was mid-screen, right? Now, because you can't go anywhere, this allows the Gears player to kind of use the string a little bit more freely, but not completely, because they have to deal with the fact that you might armor. So obviously they'll fuck around and bait and do all that bullshit, right? So we have our standard armor situation. We can obviously still do this. If we jump, it doesn't work. Jump backwards, doesn't work. Jump forward, doesn't work. Back dash, doesn't work. Forward dash, look what happened. We get hit. Nut punch, that still works. What if I crouch block? Back dash, doesn't work. Forward dash, doesn't work. Shadow kick, it works. Nut punch, it works. Parry, doesn't work. Parry, doesn't work. Fatal blow, let's see if it still works. It works. So your armored attempts are still very valuable in this situation. The question is that when is this nigga finna commit into the full move? Or the second hit of this combo string? That's the real question you gotta ask yourself. So I'm showing you guys this shit for a reason, right? Now, one more example that I'm gonna show you guys, and this has a lot to do with this annoying ass character.
Straight out of Earth. Kano, the fridge. The fire temple.
So there are combo strings in this game where you can go through it, where it's not necessarily, actually, it's even better if I pick Frost, right? Like I said, there are combo strings in this game that can become true block strings depending on how you block the situation. And sometimes you're just gonna have to hold, you're just gonna have to hold that L, mainly because of the fact that like there might be a certain normal that's possibly forcing you to block, or the mix-up might be there where you're concerned for the opponent or you're concerned that the opponent is possibly going to go for a mix of options. So there's going to be times where you're just going to hold block and you're going to crouch block, right? So I'm going to switch over to Kenshi and I'm going to go for his 141, right? And I'm going to show you guys some shit, right? So we're going to turn this on. There's a reason why I'm going to turn this on, right? I'm going to go for Frost's little move here, right? And you're going to notice something. There's a gap. Now, in your mind, you're thinking, okay, cool. There's a gap. We can go through it. But if you block this a certain way, it becomes a true block string to where you can't avoid it. Kenshi's 141 combo string is his bread and butter. He gets a mix-up from it, he's safe off of it, creates a spacing situation, and he's just very fucking annoying to deal with, right? Now, there's other reasons why this is a really good bread and butter combo string for this character, but I'm not going to talk about it, right? So, what happens if you were to crouch block? Keep in mind, the computer immediately responds, as you can clearly see here. Pay attention. As you can clearly see, it became a true block string. Now, why is this a problem, right? As you can clearly see, right, the reason why this is a problem is because if you are crouch blocking and all you do is sit there and crouch block, you are dealing with a +4 situation. This combo string becomes a true block string where he's originally seriously -1 block, but can make this situation safe with Frost and creates a spacing situation. If you are crouch blocking, you have just allowed him to do this. Now, you could flawless block and reduce the chip damage, and of course he might advance forwards with like a back 2, and a forward 2, right? Which is obvious. And, you will have options to kind of, challenge him to a certain degree. But you have to keep in mind he has range on his fucking normals, right? So you have to find where his hitbox is, or where his hurt box is on his normals, so that way you can fuck him up. Or you can whiff punish him, or jump in on him possibly, or whatever the case may be. This is the power of blocking, and I haven't even shown the different variations of blocking just yet, right? So in this situation here, I'm actually going to show you guys, just this time, I'm going to show you guys, right? So we know if we stand block, we can actually, hit this dude with the shadow kick, right? But if we crouch block completely, we can't do that, right? When he tries to go into the +4 situation with Frost to make his 141, which is -17 safe on block, right? So you're going to crouch block, and the reason why you're going to crouch block is because of that low, right? And then on top of that, he has a mix-up, so this can kind of condition you to block low a little bit every now and again, and then just watch out from the overhead, which he has access to. He can also meter burn and then get a pop-up off of it. So yeah, shit like that, right? Even if you flawless block Frost, which I don't understand why she's not why you can't make her minus on block when you successfully flawless block this. It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is, right? Also, if you do flawless block this, you're kind of fucking yourself because you do need that spacing situation in this matchup against this nigga, so that way he can't reach you completely, right? So I'm gonna show you guys like what I'm talking about, right? So you can clearly see if you flawless block it, the bitch still makes this nigga +4 in block, right? But if you decide not to flawless block it, right, it creates a spacing situation right here where there's pushback and then the spacing is right here. This is actually kind of beneficial for you because you do not want to be close to this nigga, right? Now, like I said before, right, there's a gap, right? There's clearly a gap there. But if you crouch block, you can't do shit about it. You have to hold that shit. The most you can do is just reduce the chip damage if you want to. But if you flawless block it, right, you are fucking yourself because you're extremely close to your opponent. And that's not a good situation, right? Especially against a more experienced Kenshi player. Now, here's the other thing, right? Okay, so I block this and then I stand back up. Is there a gap in this to where I don't deal with it? It is. Here's the problem. He's using Frost. What does that mean? The moment you stand right back up, you get fucking combo. This string is fucking annoying. This is one of the most annoying combo strings to deal with in this matchup when you're using Johnny. Did you see what the fuck just happened? Now, obviously, there's layers to this shit where you're worried about this and you're worried about that or whatever the case may be. So then you think that this nigga is going to commit into that shit, right? Right? Keep in mind, he's still getting mix-ups off of this. So you block low and then you keep blocking low, and the moment you stand up, it's too late. So that low that Frost has access to is going to condition you to block low. Now, the question that you have to ask yourself is, okay, well, can I go through the gap, right? And you test out these options here, right? As you can clearly see, I just tried to jump up, and I couldn't do that. I tried to jump backwards, I couldn't do that. I tried to jump forwards, I couldn't do that, okay? As you can clearly see, I'm trying to armor, and I can't do that. Okay, so let's switch over, right? And let's do it again. Stance hold, first of all. You will get a punish if you successfully block it. But as you can clearly see, it's a true block string. Right? So this is what's going to condition you to block low, which is going to allow him to make his situation +4 on block. But this is just knowing how the player is using this character and using that combo string. And you're just going to have to make some raw reads. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're just going to have to make some raw reads. Now, there might be a way that you could fuzzy guard it, which I think is a form of option selecting, which, like I told you guys before, I'm not a fan of option selecting. I hate option selecting. I think you should have to think on your own, but that's just my opinion. But as you can clearly tell, there's many layers to this bullshit. And this is the power of blocking. You need to look at every combo string, whether it's a 2-hitting combo string, it doesn't matter. You need to look at that shit and you need to ask yourself, okay, how should I block this combo string? How should I do this? Because certain combo strings, you're going to have to react to that shit immediately. So I just wanted to try and explain this the best way that I can by showing 3 different examples in terms of frame data, true block strings, that, somewhat true block strings, and gaps in combo strings to a certain degree and stuff. And I wanted to show you like 3 different layers of that, and there's so much more to it. That's not just the end of it. But hopefully this gets your foot in the door and you can experiment and you can really learn this kind of shit, bro. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be extremely beneficial while you're attacking the opponent and when you're defending against the opponent. Because you understand how your combo string works. You understand that if they block it a certain way, this is going to work for you. That's not going to work for you. This is going to work for them. That's not going to work for them. You understand what I'm saying? And it's and then, like I said, it's a mind game when you're... Because you still have to deal with the mix-up. You still have to deal with the stagger and the strike throw mind game and shit like that. But there's more to the combo string than simply mixing the opponent. There's a serious mind game behind that shit. Okay? So, like I said, hopefully you guys learned something here, bro. Because like I said, I know this information. I just don't care enough to apply it online because I don't take interesting fighting games seriously. And I never will. So... I'd just rather give you guys the information, and if you guys choose to take this game seriously, which I'm pretty sure some of you guys do, then you can do that. So if you guys want more tips and tricks like this, let me know in the comment section down below. Hopefully I explained this the best way that I can. I hope I did, because the power of blocking is very serious, especially when you're playing competitively, because when you're blocking the combo strings in a certain way, that either benefits the opponent that's attacking you on the opposing side or that's benefiting you. It goes both ways. And it's kind of a mind game defensively on your side, and it's a mind game offensively on their side. That's kind of like the beauty of this kind of shit to a certain degree, at least to me. But hopefully you guys learned something here and you actually learn this type of shit. And I haven't even gone into the more advanced shit, such as the opponent backdashing and making you whiff a poke or a certain normal, and there's a reason why they're doing that, or whatever the case may be. And this is also the reason why I tell you guys that you need to pay attention to how your opponent uses combo strings, or you pay attention to their mannerisms, and you pay attention to how like they move, basically. Like you're paying attention to how they move, kind of like detectives on a stakeout. You're watching how they move and shit. Like you realize, like, okay, they go to point A and then they go to point B and then they go back to point A and then they go to point C. that type of shit. You know what I mean? It's kind of like not like that, but you kind of see like where I'm going with this, right? So I'm talking too much, but yeah, like I said, hopefully you guys learned something here, man. I try to explain the best way that I can. Hopefully I didn't do a terrible job at it, but I'm hoping you guys understand this. But if this helps you guys out, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you guys want more videos like this, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be more than happy to make videos talking about it. Now, of course, if you guys want me to do, understanding combo strings or how to beat combo strings type tutorials like I did back in MK11, let me know about that as well, and I'll look into it. That would actually mean that I would officially be labbing against these characters finally after all this time. But if I'm not going to use the information that I know from experience since I was a youngin, then I might as well just give it to you guys, and you guys use it to your advantage. So hopefully you guys are doing well out there. Be safe out there in these crazy times. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.